All right, welcome. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this little blab on self-talk. It's a conversation that's open for dialogue, for input, for feedback. I've been trained as a self-talk speaker and trainer with Dr. Shad Helmstetter, one of the foremost experts, if you will, on self-talk. He's written many books. One of his first books was written 30 years ago plus, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And his most recent book is The Power of Neuroplasticity, the fact that we can change our mind and regrow cells and do all of that stuff. So I'm by no means qualified to talk on the science of it. I'm just going to share my experience over the last 30 years of what self-talk has done, and would love to get some feedback and some input from folks. Feel free to click and join on one of the seats. Self-talk is really, it's what happens when we're not really conscious of our thought. It could be all of the things that we say when, somebody says we're not good, and we talk to ourselves and we go, you know what, I'm not good. My grandma said I'm not good. I'm going to share with you something that Shad Helmstetter says when we do some trainings or Chamber of Commerce meetings or something. And it's something that goes like this: everything that you've ever heard, everything that you've ever said, everything that's ever been said to you has been recorded in your brain. That which has been repeated on a regular basis becomes permanent. Over the course of our lives, by the time we're 17, no fewer than about 140,000 times we've been told, if we've lived in a reasonably positive household, that won't work, can't work, doesn't work, you're going to look like your Aunt Sally, and all of these things that play in our mind. So we have this self-talk, right? Perception is reality. Well, the things that we believe in life about ourselves usually are not given to us by ourselves. It's usually somebody else's impression, somebody else's interpretation. So the way that we were in school, if you had a great teacher, you probably did pretty good in school. If you had a teacher who just said everybody was stupid, you may have had some more challenges in school. And the way science is today, they can actually show positive and negative neurons in the brain and where they're stored and how they're stored. And if they count them up with MRIs, and if you have more positive, you're going to have a little bit better chance in life of enjoying it. If you've got more negative neurons, you're going to wind up having some more challenges. Now, again, this is all through books of, again, Shad Helmstetter's book, The Science of Neuroplasticity. But I guess the question is what do we do? How do we work on ourselves? How do we control that? The concern is that, everybody went around for years, and it's not a Post-it note, but we went around writing notes, all kinds of notes all over paperwork and sticking them different places. And it was the affirmation age. And during those affirmations, we would say them, and a lot of people would go, well, that didn't work for me. Here's the reality of sometimes why it doesn't work for you. If you think about it, if you just go back to the basics, right? If you study things and don't put the emotion to it, well, why didn't affirmations work for so many people? Well, they didn't work because who was saying the affirmation? Weren't you saying the affirmation? Weren't you the one talking? Weren't you the one repeating, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be this? You know where the problem lies? It was in your own voice. The fact that you were saying it, your subconscious is going, wait a minute, for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, you've been telling yourself, this isn't right. You can't believe this. You don't understand that. You were never true to that. But yet we go and we read these affirmations, I'll be rich, I'll be healthy, I'll be happy. And it was in our own voice. Science has proven that if you say things to yourself, unless you get tremendous amount of emotion tied to it, unless you can create this emotional connection with the verbiage, with the mindset, it's a challenge. It's difficult to wind up believing your own words. So the key to understanding self-talk is that you're going to have to, in the beginning, have someone else say it for you. And Shad Helmstetter has got a whole series on tools and techniques and tips on how to do that. ShadHelmstetter.com. You can go over there and check that out. But the point is that understanding pure science behind it, pure just logic behind it, if you've told yourself all of these things in self-talk that you're no good, can't do, and don't believe in yourself, if you go write a little affirmation paper down and say, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be in control of my thoughts, I'm going to control all that I do, and you're saying it to yourself, that's where the challenge lies. So part of self-talk is making sure that you can write out the things that you want. In the beginning, you need to hear it in someone else's voice. I know that sounds silly, but where did all of these beliefs come from? It came from someone else's voice. We took it in as our own. They've done the studies, right, that the mind doesn't know whether it's true or false. I just read something here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me just click this over here. So this is something that NPR, I was doing some studies on, or not studies, some research this morning on this, and I clicked in the power of self-talk. And here's something that came up from NPR. And you could type, I mean, all of this is all powerful information, but it's all available. So that little link that's over there in the chat, NPR had, in that little article, it had a pretty good description of self-talk. Imagine a captain on a boat, and the crew, everyone that's running the boat, is down in the hull of the ship. They're down in the bottom. And the captain yells out, turn the ship 15 degrees north. Well, the crew hears it, and they know exactly what to do. They know exactly how to do it. And they're going to say, turn the ship 15 degrees north, and they turn the ship 15 degrees north. Nothing wrong with that, right? Unless what? The captain can't see the challenges, unless the captain is driving the ship into rocks, unless the captain is driving it into land. The crew doesn't know. So understand that that's the difference between the conscious, the captain, and the subconscious, the crew. Whatever you tell it, it's going to do. So how do we work on telling ourselves what we need to do, what we want to do more? Well, again, I go back to that. In the beginning, until we believe ourselves, until we have enough faith and confidence in our own word, we're going to have to hear it from or through somebody else. That's why when we read books, yesterday I did a little thing on Facebook. I gave away a dozen of these books, The Miracle in You. That's why we read personal development and self-help books, Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends, Influence People, all of these different things, The Happiness Factor, Sean Aker, all of these things. We read these and we get excited about them, because it's somebody else's words we're hearing. We're saying it in our own mind, but it's somebody else's words. We don't have to take our own thoughts, our own verbiage, our own dialogue, and make it true. We can believe somebody else's words. So how do you do this? Well, write it down. Writing it, that kinesthetic, does some pretty powerful things. The way you can start to use your own words and believe in it is you've got to decide what it is you're going to use as your language. Before you do that, what if you monitored? What if for the rest of this afternoon, today's Sunday, the day of the recording, but if you're watching this recording, for the rest of the day, why not have a conversation with yourself listening to the words you use? So if you get on the phone and you talk to somebody this afternoon or the rest of this morning, or you're going out to breakfast or brunch today, and you're going to order something from the menu, and somebody says, well, why don't you try the hollandaise? Why don't you try the eggs Benedict? Oh, I hate eggs Benedict. Did you hear what? You have to begin to monitor your language. If you're using words like hate or just very negative words, well, that's who I am. Mark Victor Hansen would say, you're right. That is who you are. But the key is that who you want to be? Start to monitor the language that you use. Listen to the words you use when you talk to your kids, if you have children. Listen to the words you talk when you talk to your family, your spouse, people around. Listen to the words you use when you talk about people who can't hear you. Oh, well, they're idiots, or they're this, they're that. Well, does that all matter? Everything has vibration. The words that we use, the energy, that's why when we listen to music, we listen to good music, we get excited about good music. And when bad music shows up, what do? We change it. Well, see, the radio station in our mind, we have complete control over. Well, Sean, you don't understand what I've been through. You're right. I don't. I'll never understand what you've been through. But I can understand you can get from where you are to where you want to be. So what do? Well, start by staying in a high state of energy. Start by monitoring the words that you use. Start by being a part of who you want to be, what you want to be. And when you decide to do that, you'll see a shift change. Now, what'll happen is that when you start down this path, whether it's for a day or for a year or for the rest of your life, there's a moment where the subconscious shows up and goes, that's not who you are. That's not what you've done. That's who we were is not who we're becoming. Who we were is not who we decide we need to be. If we just set ourselves afloat on the ocean, we're going to have some challenges. So self-talk is making a decision on how to get started. So a couple of things that I was taught to do is start with what you don't want. Decide what you don't want. Because that's easier for us to believe. That's easier for us to engage in. And that's easier for the subconscious to say, you know what? That's right. I don't want that. Well, wait a minute. I thought this was all about positive self-talk and affirmations and doing better and having more and being more. Well, it is. But until you know exactly what you don't want, you'll wind up down those paths again. And see, if you've ever gotten directions from somebody and they said, go till the Texaco station. And if you go past that, you've gone too far, right? Well, how many of us didn't see the Texaco station and we drove another 4, 5, 6 miles and said, I never saw it. That's because we weren't paying attention. Same thing holds true in our own goals and our own desires. If you go to sleep at night and go, boy, I hope tomorrow's better, then you missed some road signs along the way to stop you and at least say, go a different direction. So take a sheet of paper out whenever you'd want to and write down the things you don't want. And write down everything you don't want. The things that, well, I don't want to be heavy, or I don't want to be afraid of standing in front of a room speaking with people, or I don't want to be this, or I don't want to be that. And now at least you know the things that you don't want. So if you start heading in that direction, you can go, wait a minute, I said I don't want that. Now I can decide what I do want. The challenge is with writing out affirmations to get things that we want, to work towards a goal we haven't had is this. If you're going to do something you've never done before, you're going to have to feel a way you've never felt before, think a way you've never thought before, and that's just going to cause you to feel a way you've never felt before. So I want to go stand on stage. Well, I've done that in China. I want to go stand on stage in Africa. Well, I've never done that before. Well, how do I get there if I've never been there? So, well, I've got to think a way I've never thought before. So who do I know? I got to go through all of that. I've got to do things I've not done before. And how many of us, if we had to do things we've not done before, would feel comfortable? We're going to feel uncomfortable. So if that's the case, then are we okay with feeling uncomfortable? See, that uncomfortable feeling is okay if we know we're going in the right direction. So if anyone wants to jump in and share your thoughts on this, I'm been publicly speaking and training for 30 years and working on myself. I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination. If anybody wants to jump in, take one of the open seats, have a dialogue and have a conversation or share your thoughts, that'd be great. Well, great, Stephanie. Come on in. Hey, welcome.
Hey,
Stephanie. Great to have you here.
thank you. I have a question. So when you are having those crazy thoughts, negative thoughts, I tend to, try and be a positive person, but every once in a while you just get into that funk where, all of a sudden you're obsessing of the same negative thing over and over, even though you know what not to do. How do you get those, how do you reverse that shit?
Okay, that's a great question. I get asked that all the time. That is an awesome question. So once you get in the rabbit hole, how do you get out?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, motion creates emotion. So the easiest way is, and I know it's not always easy, but if there's do you have a favorite song, Stephanie, that you just love to listen to?
I teach Zumba, which is really fun. So I have a lot of fun, exciting songs. I can't think
Okay.
yeah, I can probably.
So the easiest way is, what happens is, so where all of this fighting comes from. So we've got our left side of the brain, we've got the right side of the brain. Where all of this negative shows up, it's in a little thing about the size of a couple of quarters, and it's called the amygdala. And the amygdala is the fight or flight, right? So if you get nervous and you get that fight or flight, it's all in the amygdala. And the amygdala was designed to protect us from the saber-toothed tiger. Now, I'm going to get to the answer, but I'm just explaining how we have to control it. So the amygdala is it's the fire alarm. It's the perimeter alarm. It's all of these things that say, danger, 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 Will Robinson, right? Remember Lost in Space? So and it never shuts off. And it's always looking for a reason to run. It's always looking for a reason to fight. So when you start feeding it, and when it starts getting fed that negative, it just goes into hyperdrive, lockdown, level 5 quarantine. Mm-hmm. And you can't shut it off. So the only way, since we can't shut it off, we have to override it. Now, the only real ways to override it is drugs and alcohol, or we have more positive feeding in, and it'll eventually turn that off. It'll say, okay, everything's go back from stage 5 to level 1 security. Mm-hmm. And the easiest way to do that is through music, through energy. You understand what the body does when teaching Zumba and how you move and how it changes in endorphins. So I would suggest you just do something silly. Just jump up and start singing or yelling. And what you'll see is all of a sudden you go, well, why was I worried about that anyways? But if we change, it's this constant growth, and it just builds and builds and builds until we have an episode, a breaking point. And doesn't have to be a breakdown.
It's always the same kind of thing. Do you think, and then your mind, always goes to that same thing. Do you think that holds you back from like having the positive things happen?
Oh, sure. So what's happening? And again, I'm not
hypothetical. It's like, most people have debt, right? So if you start getting obsessed when your bills come in, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this debt, never going to get out of this debt. But then you're doing 80% positive, but that 20% is like, always still thinking that, will you ever get out of that debt if you still having that 20% torturing your head? Yeah,
and here's where faith comes in, and here's where belief in yourself comes in. It's not about it's a higher power, which is you. And we're not here talking about religion. But what happens is, let me ask this question. So if I have this cup filled with water, and I put 1 drop of arsenic in it, who wants to drink it? Now, we have arsenic in our diet all the time. The point is that 80% versus 20%, that's really the Pareto principle, right? That 20% of the negative supersedes all of the 80% of the great things that you're doing. So how do you get over it? I know it's difficult, but when you look at this, here's a good buddy of mine, Ron, popping in. When you look at this, Stephanie, the key is, what if you just say, hey, listen, I'm so grateful I have these bills.
Right.
Now that you talk about really changing your mind and that subconscious, man, look at the bills I get to pay. I may not have all of it for now, but boy, what a blessing it is to have bills. There's people that don't have them.
Right.
So Wayne Dyer said before he passed, and I was in a meeting with him one time, he said, he's always said this on his stages and his meetings, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Right. So if you take that, just look at it from the other side. Just look at it and just start to see it in a different way. And what will happen is it'll begin to lose its strength. It'll begin to lose its power. And when it loses its power, new suggestions and new ideas can come in how to take care of that. If you've ever been on a busy highway, have you ever been on an on-ramp and it's so busy you can't get in?
Right.
Well, how do you eventually get into that traffic? There has to be a space.
Right.
And if you can allow yourself a space when those things come in, because you're so conditioned to go, oh my gosh, here's the bills. I don't want, it's Tuesday, you know, it's going to show up in the mailbox. Imagine saying, you know what, when I do pay these, there's going to be families who will have more income for their families. There's going to be families who may not lose a job because I pay my bills. I get to help the world in a way that I didn't think I could before. As opposed to it being all about them and them taken from me, I eventually get to give them. And I promise you some neat things will happen. Good buddy of mine has just popped in here, somebody he's got a book coming out that's going to be absolutely amazing, talking about the superhero within. And there's a superhero within you, Stephanie. Hey, Ron, how are you, brother?
Good, good. Hey, Sean. Hey, Stephanie. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Good.
Hey, Ron, you got any thoughts for Stephanie? Some ideas? Because goodness gracious knows you've helped a lot of people.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and thank you for plugging my book. That's great. Thank you. So, and actually what my book is about is exactly what you guys are talking about, because it's talking about the things we can change in life and the things that we can't. And so oftentimes, especially using bills as an example, that's a perfect example, because there are certain things that we have control over, and we have control over having those bills. And we're not going to get into that this morning, but it's almost the way that you think about those bills. And Stephanie, in your case, it would be, you know, as a woman thinketh in her heart, so she is. Mm-hmm. And so how are you thinking about those bills and giving you anxiety with your feelings? And really, instead of us focusing on the feelings, because Sean's absolutely right, the way that we get those feelings are through our value systems and our beliefs. Mm-hmm. So if we look at our bills and look at them in a rational way, you know, first of all, do we have the bills? Yeah, it's a fact. We have the bills. But there's three other questions that you want to ask yourself, and staying rational about them. The second one is the way that we're thinking about our bills going to be helpful to us, helpful to our well-being, helpful? And then, of course, the third question is this going to be beneficial to others? Be thinking the way that I am about the bills, like your family, your friends, all the people around you, the people that you owe our bills to, you know. So it's everybody around when it has to do with those bills. And then, of course, the last one is it helping us reach our rational goal, which our goal in this case is, it might be that we're paying off those bills, or that we want to create more bills. So sometimes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, when we take vacation, sometimes we create debt along with a vacation. Sometimes in the home that we live in, the cars that we drive, all those things are a reflection of the way that we think. And so if we can take out the emotion out of it, because, and in one of the chapters of my book, the title is, what do feelings have to do with it? Because really, feelings have nothing to do with the things that we have. The things that we actually have control over are the way that we think about the things that are going on in our lives and our behaviors that we have. So anyway, I hope that's helpful to you, Stephanie, and thank you, Sean, for inviting me in.
Sure, yeah. Hang out there, Ron, because you've got some great ideas. So, Steph, is this kind of giving you an idea? Is it, because it's easy for us to sit here and go, hey, listen, here's all the things you should do. When you click off this Blab, your life is going to be right there again, right? And you got to deal with it. So how are you feeling now? Do you feel a little more empowered?
I definitely feel more empowered to do the distracting part, like when that brain starts going to, I got to find a good song and just like, just,
Because the mind can only think at
right.
one thing at a time, right? The eyes can take in 2 million bits of information per second per eye, but it still only focuses on one. And the mind says, okay, I don't care how many. Now, women multitask. My bride is a master multitasker, but she's only doing one task at any one time. I don't care if it's 50 tasks in a row, but we can only do one thing at a time. So when you get to that state, I would suggest, and you know this, again, as an instructor for health and for dance, breathe, right? Take a breath. Stop, focus on your breath. You know all of this. This is why it's sometimes even more frustrating, right? Because it's like, he's not telling me anything new. There's only 26 letters in the alphabet. I didn't create them. Ron didn't create them. You didn't create. So nothing is new. It's just how we react and respond to it and through it. So yeah, find that song, start humming it, carry your iPad around or iTunes around, whatever it is, and just plug it in. And then as you start to say, okay, when those things show up, tell them thank you. Say, you know what? Hey, listen, Discover card, thanks for showing up in my head. Yeah. Not right now. Right? Imagine how many people are in your class when you're doing a Zumba class?
7, 8 women.
Okay, so 7 or 8 women are there. You're multitasking with 7 or 8 on a positive thing. You're all jiving. You're all doing great. What if 15 people walked in off the street and said, I want a pizza? What would you do? You'd go, well, this isn't the place for pizza. Thanks for showing up. You'd be polite. And if they hung around, you'd eventually get rude, wouldn't you? Because you have something to do. Well, do that with your thoughts. Just think of it the same way. I'm a farm boy from Ohio. I barely made it through high school and drove by a lot of colleges. I am not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But I'm the biggest fork. I'll help you poke the things out of your life that you want to. The key is take care of you. You know how to do this. This isn't about go get another book, go get another training, go get another something else. It's just about you being you.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
And it kind of goes along.
Awesome.
I was at an event on Tuesday, and these people were showing a documentary that they're making on prayer. And it was interesting because just going along with what you say, it's just coming to, even with these bad thoughts or whatever negative going on in your head, it's like just, using it even possibly as a prayer just to like spew this crap out, it's like we always think we have to, be in this perfect space to, pray or to, be, have had our confession time and then now it's time to pray. But in reality, we could just blab all kinds of stuff, whatever's going on in a prayer to God, like take it away. It could be the same as that song.
It absolutely is. But why does prayer work? It's because we've stopped the distractions and we've got focused about one thing.
Like you can even actually, instead of the song in your head, you can actually just turn that crap into like, okay, here it is. Here's that crap. Take it, whatever.
For sure. Well, yeah. So it is. It's about
erase.
But and she does that hand movement, right? So motion creates emotion. It puts her into state. So that's what it's really all about. What you said it just perfectly there. And that's why this is a community and just people of a psychographic wanting to have more, do more, be more, show up together. And you probably just taught somebody because they do something like that and they go, oh, well, that's why it works. So that's awesome.
Thank you for having something good on Blab. They're usually
well, other than social media or why you shouldn't be here.
Last night I was like about to ready to go to bed, and there was like nothing really positive or educational on Blab. And same thing this morning, it was all craziness. So thank you for coming on with something that was positive and teaching and motivating and not just.
Oh, Stephanie, thank you. You made my day. Namaste to you. Blessings to you and your family.
And I'll hope to see you again. I'm following you now.
Awesome. I will do that. This is what I love to do. I've been a speaker and trainer for 30 years around the world. I've been translated into 35 languages. I have an 11-year-old son and a bride of 17 years. And I've been blessed, and people say, oh, well, have you written a book? I go, people don't read books. Oh, well, I'll buy yours. I don't need you to buy mine. So I'm glad there's a forum like this that we can just all get together and have some fun and share the most precious resource we have with each other is our time and our energy. So thanks for coming by, Stephanie. You've made the world a better place.
Oh, thank you. And I definitely hope to see you again. And I'm going to be watching. I'm getting ready for a marketing boot camp event with my business coach. He's emceeing a event in Los Angeles at the Regent.
Oh, wow.
Casey Eberhard is my business coach, and he's a speaker, and he's an awesome guy.
Awesome. So, absolutely
I'm listening and watching from the sideline, so I'm not going to go away. So give it to us.
Okay. Thanks, Stephanie. I appreciate it. Wonderful, wonderful. So, folks, let me ask you. It's some great information. I'm blessed. I'm privileged to be sharing this. Eileen, great to have you here. Jaron, great to have you here. Mohammed, Tico. So come on in. Let's share with me. Teach me. I always love being a student. So, yeah, it was interesting. Mohammed, how are you? Great to have you here.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
You are welcome, and I happy to see you. Yeah.
Well, great. So where are you from,
Egypt.
Mohammed? Where are you at today?
Yes.
Isn't this awesome? Here we are. We're this far apart on a page, and it's Dallas, Texas.
Yes, it's far away from Egypt and Dallas. Yes.
Yeah, but we're very close in mindset, so that's why you're here today. Appreciate
that. Too.
So, any questions for me? Would you like to share some ideas? What have you done when you have gotten frustrated before, when life has kind of hit you? What are some of the things you've done in the past to get yourself back
when
up,
I get frustrated
from
something in my work, I try to calm down and think slowly to get a new concept or to get a new creative to reach the solution of the problem. I try, and then if I will not solve my problem or figure out it, I will try. I pray for the God to help me with ideas to solve everything that face me.
You know, you said a couple of important things there. You slow down, right? You slow down and you start to focus, and you focus on what you need to answer. Folks, listen to what Mohammed just said. I mean, it seems like, well, I don't do anything special. That's what we all need to do. When we get to a point to where we really have to focus, if you've ever been, now, I don't know if it snows or you get too much ice in Egypt on the roads.
I will invite you to come to Egypt to host and
it would be an honor. The key is, if you've ever been I grew up in the north here, so we had snow and ice all the time. If you've ever been in a car when it's starting to do this, the twisting, everyone says it's like it went into slow motion. I could just see everything. What it is that we got rid of all of the distractions that weren't important, and we were able to focus on the thing. If we were to just focus on the one thing, the world would look in slow motion. But right now, there's you watching me, looking at the sun behind me.
It's a nice place, or a nice place to sit in it. I need to shine sun to be calm and focus on one point, as you said, and try to split the problem into small pieces. Yes, and small pieces to get a solution or to get.
Because it doesn't matter how big it is, right? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with what? One step. So the challenge is that when I go, well, okay, I've got to fix this. Yeah, but what about the cap? Well, what about the inside? No, stay focused on the
Yes.
challenge. And really, folks, the biggest thing, the easiest thing that anyone could ever do, if you watch babies, when babies have not been conditioned by us or outside influences, they're breathing. Look at how they breathe. It's called diaphragmatic breathing. They breathe from their belly, not from, this is all stress related. If we can just slow down, and you can Google it, I can't even spell it. I don't know how to spell it, but diaphragmatic breathing. If we can lower our respiratory rate and take bigger breaths and be in the moment, that can do so much for stress relief. And then, as Stephanie said, find something that's music that focuses you, gets you. When we hear good music, what do? We turn it up.
Yes.
When we find that thing that we don't want, I don't want to think about. I don't even want to think about that. Well, the mind is saying, I want to think about that, because it doesn't hear the word don't. So as Muhammad's saying, he slows down. I gotta slow down. I gotta take a break, right? You've heard the expression, slow down to speed up.
Yes.
So he slows down, looks at this problem and says, okay, can I solve this? No. Then I
small pieces. Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So somebody says, and I can't, Miss the Sky. Yeah, Arabic music is my favorite. I teach belly dancing also. How cool is that? I'm going to put a...
when I get frustrated and I want to listen some music, I try to listen to Maki songs. We have a popular songs, don't aim to any meaning. It's a lot of songs. It's like a pop rap. It's a lot of songs. It will make a headache for my brain. Yes, I try to listen, but it's ugly songs. But I try to out of my hands from life, or out of my brain from life, to take a rest.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So Muhammad, when you do, so let me ask this. So you shared with us how you take it. You've got to slow down.
Yes,
you break it
and
pieces.
Speed up to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you get through that, how do you feel? How do you know you've kind of answered all the little pieces? You've taken those little pieces and solved them. How do you know? Is there a feeling you get? Is there an emotion you get? Or do you just get a check mark in the mind that goes, yep, that problem solved?
Yes,
what happens?
when I face any problem, first I look the problem. I feel it's a very big. I cannot solve it at all. When I take a small breath, then I am thinking for 2 minutes to how to solve this problem. Then I failure many times to do that. After that, I can ask my coworkers or to get a new idea or to get a creative to solve this problem. Then I feel a little comfortable to solve this problem. In the next step, then I try to when I go home, I rest on a bed to think about the problem. I don't be able to sleep. I am thinking about this problem until morning when I reach this problem. After that, I can get a permission from my work and go a bed to sleep. After I finish my problem.
Well, you bring up a great point about sleep. There's a lot of people who say, I just can't get to sleep. Part of the challenge is that we are so, I don't even have my phone. No, there it is. We go to sleep with this. We wake up with this. We have so much information. We've got to check Facebook before we go. So here's what I'm going to suggest. If you're having a challenge, right, in order for things to change, what has to change? Out there or in here?
In here.
In here. So for all of the people that are listening and saying, man, how do I get to sleep easier? How do I make, here's what I will tell you. The mind, we can talk about 130, 140, 150 words a minute. What I've been told is the brain can think of about 14,000 words a minute.
Yeah.
So when I tell somebody, when I ask somebody, hey, what are you thinking? And they say not much, consciously they're not, but there's a subconscious dialogue going on that's just unbelievable. We have 50, 60,000 thoughts a day. We're aware of anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000. If you live in a high stress area driving, like I lived in Puerto Rico for 6 years, taxi cab drivers in New York go to Puerto Rico to learn how to drive. You're going to have a lot more thoughts. So when you go to sleep at night, you need to journal. You need to look at your day. You need to start setting your day up for tomorrow, because when you go to sleep, whether it's I sleep about 4 hours a day. When you go to sleep and you say, well, I need some quiet time, the brain doesn't stop. Make sure you give your brain some good nutrition to work on during the night to help you through the process. So tell it what you want it to think about. Tell it what you want it to work on for tomorrow. Now, from a scientific standpoint, you can do research on this. Again, I'm not any kind of teacher of any sort on this stuff. I just read a lot. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, whether it's to get a drink of water, to go use the restroom or something, but you're waking up, yeah, it changes everything. But I'm going to throw this out. Do some research. Check out what would happen if you took 2 tablespoons of raw honey, pure honey, before you go to sleep. There's a certain fatty acid that the brain needs and your body can only store so much of during the day, that if you don't replenish it before you go to sleep, the brain has to then switch over, wake up the body, and start switching over and using muscle tissue to create that fatty acid. So I say all of this to say, look at what honey will do. Google honey and bedtime, 2 tablespoons of honey to sleep better, and you'll be amazed at what it's done. I've been using it now for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's just really powerful. And it even helps my 11-year-old boy and helps my bride. So that's just from getting some good night's sleep, a full night's sleep. But feed your mind some ideas before you go to sleep at night. That's pretty cool.
I got you. But it's as you said, many thoughts. I think it's different from country and other country. For as you called us, or the third countries, we try our thoughts. It's bring us to success, or sometimes bring us to failures in our life. We try to think outside of the box. Many professor tried to teach us you have to think outside of the box to get a solution, and to be calm, not annoyed, and get frustrated from anything. You have to be a smile. You have to get a lot of smile to be calm and to solve every problem. And when I see you angry with me. When I see you can get it's a very.
Now, science calls those mirror neurons. So if you've ever seen somebody that's crying and you start to get sad, or you see somebody that's mad, or you see a smile and you mimic it, you mirror it, it's a phenomenon called mirror neurons. So you're absolutely right, Mohammed. If you're mad at me, I don't know why I'm going to be mad at you, but you can bet I'll start off there and then decide whether or not I want to change. You're absolutely right.
It's my point of view to say that, or to take any challenge. If we need to take a challenge in my work, I try to analyze the case or the issue to reach the top or the peak. As I understand.
Yeah, the key is that as wherever you want to get to, you can get there. here's what I talk. Here's what I also teach some of my students. There's a thing called quantum jumping. So if I were to ask you, Muhammad, do you remember the first time you rode a bicycle or the first time you drove a car? Do you remember? It wasn't yesterday. Right?
Since 2005, I was riding a bicycle. Yes.
Okay. So you went from 2015 back to 2005 like that, right? You went from here. You didn't have to go, well, what did I do in 2014? What about 2000? No, you went from 10
but I
to
think
5.
we remember our memorize. But if we say or ask it me when what you eat yesterday, I don't know. I didn't remember.
No, because there was very little emotion tied to that, unless of course it was for some people it was when they cut their wedding cake, right? Could have been 50, 60 years ago. It's that emotion. So my point is that you just went from 2010 to 2005. You instantly thought of that. But the brain doesn't know whether it's true or false, so it took it for what it is. And so now why couldn't you go from 2015 to 2020 and be in total belief your success is there?
Yes.
Right? Why not? It's called the law of opposite.
It depends on our vision. Our vision.
Well, it depends on our belief.
What would you plan? And we have a plan. If we plan for a long term or a short term, you have to plan to reach your target. As I got your point.
You plan for it, but know it's already true. Know that it's already true, because if you want, the universe only has to bring you wanting. See, I see some pictures on behind you on your board. I see some graphs.
I can go to.
If you were to ask somebody, hey, listen, I want a graph on my board. Do you ever have a graph on your board?
No.
No, because you only want it. You told somebody, make that for me.
I decided to do that.
And in that decision, the universe says, we now have to make it true. The decision could be, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be married. I'm going to be single. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be poor. The decisions we make affect our environment. Does it instantly. The perfect example would be as if you're in a building that has air conditioning and it's hot, what do? You make a decision and you make it cooler by turning on the air conditioning. Our thoughts affect our environment. So it's very powerful.
Yes, it depends on our life and our brain. What does it think? It different if our life is very nice or very rich. I think I will think in a different way. If some
Frozen. This is so awesome. I love all these folks coming on here. I'm just looking to see. Hey, Kristen. Hey, Megan. Hey, Tico, are you there? Can you talk? Vicente? Must not have his mics on and stuff. So, folks, this is pretty powerful. And again, my daddy had a phrase. How do you know a salesman's lying? His lips are moving. Right? So I'm not here. I'm here to sell you on the idea that you can be in control. You don't need another book. You don't need another tape. You don't need another seminar, right? 80% of books and tapes are never opened or read. It's the thought of having them make us feel good. Yeah, there's a lot of great books. I'm not saying that most people don't. It's the 3%, right? The 3% club spend 3% of their time, 3% of their money, 3% of their energy, and they wind up in the top 3% of society. And that could just be, they don't have to be rich. Mother Teresa wasn't rich. She had a tremendous amount of wealth, but she wasn't rich by any stretch of the imagination, but she had a tremendous amount of wealth. Why? Because she focused her energy and her time in specific
nice
places.
to see you again.
Hey, there
Yes,
you
yes,
are.
yes, they are. As to complete my to continue my speech, 60% of people is falling under poverty line. They are thinking to earn how to live or living in our society. We think if I offer to someone to get a small money, he will do everything. He will kill you, for example. If I, it depends on our society, not our mind. We have, I think the next couple of days we have elections for council in Egypt. We have to vote. If I vote for Seen or for Muhammad Gamal, I will take a small money, £100 if I vote for someone without another one. Yes,
Wow.
yes. It depends on our society and our education.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to, when people are trying to run for office, I mean, let's look at it that way. Imagine your thoughts are trying to run for office in your mind.
Yeah.
Who do you vote for? Right now, there's only one vote that makes them a winner. It's your
Yes,
vote.
but I vote for when he bring me his idea. I convince it with his idea. I vote for him, but I'm talking about another society. 60% of people they will do that because he needs money. He needs money a lot. Just I inside I throw the paper inside the box just only, not
Wow.
thinking about the money. It's
So,
our
Mohammed, let
fault.
me ask you: is any particular book on personal development, or is there a book that you like about personal development, or on personal growth or business that
Uh,
you've read or that you're reading?
I want to say something for you. I'm working as HR specialist in tourism company. To develop myself, I took many diplomas or certificate from American University in Cairo to learn more about human resource management and how to plan with people, how to train the other people. Like that I try to develop myself. I listen a lot for we have a popular famous person called Ibrahim al-Fikki. He was working in America in AUC, and he was died. I try to improve myself by um, when I browsing on the internet, I found the beta blab. Suddenly, I found the beta blood. I said I will try to discover or figure out something new, and I enroll the session and I meet with you. In this case, I will try to improve my speaking. First time I talk with another one face to face. It's the first time. I hope to
Right.
understand me what I said. I try. Yes,
Well,
blue
gotta look good.
blue collar.
Well, well, Mohammed, you know what? I appreciate you coming by today. Thank you for being a part of this audience, sharing your energy, your love, your information. I can't wait to get to know you even more and even better as we go through and do more of these kinds of conversations and thought sharing. And I just really appreciate it.
Yes,
So I'm glad you.
and I hope to be the second language. It's my native language is Arabic, and I hope to
Right.
be in English is a native also to learn more language. I plan for myself many things. I have to take HR management. Then I learn second language, English or French. But I decided to take English first to learn more. Then I take a French. Then I take many language to know how other people thinking, to know
Right.
to get a lot of information from other people, and I hope to help me to get to be fluency in English. Inshallah, I will, and I
Well,
hope to understand me what in what I say.
well, we understood you perfectly because who you are speaks so loud. We don't need to hear what you're saying, but we heard clearly what you're saying. Your words were perfect, and I appreciate you spending and sharing your information. Again, Dallas, Texas, we got Egypt over here. I think you're on this side, but the key is that this is a global. We're a psychographic. We're a group of individuals who think the same way. It doesn't matter where we're at in the world. So I appreciate.
I think is we are a small in a small community. After internet, satellite broadcasting, it's like that. But we need to imagine something about that. If we our internet is shutting down, I don't know you. We our life is stopping. If we
Oh
yes,
wow!
when we see in on the street, we will play on Facebook, then Twitter. My network is very poor. I'm get frustrating and book at my I
Well, now we're talking about right, so don't get
yes.
frustrated. It is what it is, but you'll find another way to have a conversation.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. After
this is
that,
so cool.
when the internet is very good, oh wow, it's good. I'm playing. I wanted to chat with my girlfriend. Yes.
Well, remember, 600, 1,000 years ago, when the Sufi sat and he saw the hill, and he said, it's easier for me to communicate to somebody on the other side of the hill than it is. He would have thought this was black magic,
Yeah.
the phone. No way. I can talk to my friends no matter where they're at. But now
It's
we
easy.
get excited.
Yes.
Yeah, we use
Uh,
this. So it's all about connection, right? I mean, that's what you just said. When our
yeah.
connection is down, we get
Yes.
frustrated. So the same thing
we
from our dreams, right?
yes, yes. We
So
have to think. I'm thinking a lot about this topic. If the internet network is disconnect for 10 days, what will I do? I don't know anything. Uh,
write a book.
read a book. Okay, but for youth, I think we need a speed up our life. We don't know to, like that. We uh,
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you being here today. You're so awesome. The world's a better place with you in it. Thanks for showing up in
thank
our
you,
world
Sunk,
today.
and I hope to be a friend with you, a good friend with you. I hope.
It would be my honor and my privilege.
I, me too, my Mister.
So hang out there. Don't go anywhere. Let me ask some questions. So, hey, folks, if you've heard me and Mohammed talking, my new best friend in Egypt.
I need to follow you first to.
You can click on the little link that's up there next to my name in the screen, and we're good. So, folks, hey, isn't this awesome? You know, when we talk about our self-talk and we talked about connection and we talk about being, as Muhammad said, it's a very small world out there. There's a world that lives in up here that we need to do our best to be in charge of, because we can say other people are. We can say our boss makes me upset. We can say I don't have any money in the bank account. Those are just realities. Yes. You're a friend of mine who wrote this book, Mark Victor Hansen. This is something, like I said, I was giving away yesterday. He said, could it be any better? Yeah, it could be much better. Could it be any worse? It could be a lot worse. So then it is just what it is. It's called the law of comparison. So let me give you a little example. Which is bigger, This little red ball or this cup? Which is bigger? The cup is bigger. So which is bigger? The cup or the house I'm in? This? Well, then how can this be both big and small?
Yes.
It's called the law of comparison. It just is. Nothing has shape until quantum physics says nothing takes shape until we measure it. So when we go to measure our problems, when we go to measure our blessings, they're just measurements.
Yes.
Wayne Dyer said he had a meeting with somebody, and the name of him, I just forgot it. But what he said to Wayne, Dr. Wayne Dyer, he said was, maybe it was Maslow. Maslow said, be independent of the good thoughts of other people. See, we're all about what does somebody else think? And when they say something bad about us, we go, well, I don't know why they think that way. But when people say good things about us, we go, well, yeah, that's true. We need to learn how to be independent of even the good thoughts of other people.
Yeah, yeah.
Why would we want to do that? Why do we even want to do that? Because the reality is that we are just the way we are. What does it mean with good thoughts? Well, it's only about measuring, Ross, about whether it's a good thought or a bad thought, whether we think it's good or we think it's bad. People can go to a movie, the same movie, and some people laugh at a scene and other people get scared by a scene. So it is our own perception. It is our own reality. So that being said, when we measure our stuff, so Hitler could tell if his thoughts were, I don't know. I'm not Hitler. I can't tell whether you tell your thoughts are good or bad. But I know that people say they have good thoughts and they say they have bad thoughts, right? That's all I can share with you. I don't know whether, I'm sure he thought his thoughts were what he thought they were. I'm sure there are people that said these may be good things or not. It is. And I agree. Thank you for bringing it up. It is an opinion. I totally agree. So you're absolutely right. I said it earlier. You may not have been on here, but I said it earlier. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. I didn't make any of them. So all of this is just, it's a syntax the way I use it.
Yes, I want to say something for you. You are a nice man, and you have enormous knowledge. I need to learn more from of you. Learning more, you have a lot of knowledge, extensive knowledge, trying to help us to hold the stick from the first and not jump to the final stairs. We need to take step by step to reach our target and know more people like you.
Well, it's a community.
Yes.
And the good news is, when you do well and you do good things, there's going to be people who want to do that with you, and there's other people who don't. And it's just a community. We need to have, nothing means anything until somebody challenges it, right? Until we test it. So it's all okay. I'm all good with it. Trust me. I've stood in front of over 1 million people, and I have had people who have loved what I do and people who've said, oh my God, I'll never get that time
And I
back.
hope to come to Egypt to visit us, to see our people from the youngest to the oldest, to know other countries like us, Egypt.
That would be awesome.
I hope.
Yeah, Karma, you're right. They're just thoughts. It's until we take action on them and put them into reality.
So, when you will decide to come to Egypt, please let me know to.
You'll be the second one to know. When I get my ticket, you'll know before I get my ticket.
Inshallah. I hope to come.
It would be great to have you. Hey, I see Total Dream trying to check in. I don't know whether, can we hear you or can you speak? Is your mic on or is it? Because I see it trying to link in.
Total dream.
We don't. So just.
He still walks up.
Yeah.
He needs to survive.
So, folks, again, it's we've been talking about this for, oh my goodness, it's a little over an hour now, and And so there's my thoughts on personal development, on you being better. I'm not a life coach. I have that title, but I'm not a life coach. I'm still trying to figure out my life. I can't teach you yours. I can give you some ideas that may help you do better at what you do, but I can't teach you how to do you. Nobody does you better than you. And I deal in business. I'm an international speaker and trainer. So if you want to learn how to speak in front of an audience, I'll be doing some workshops on that as well. But I want to thank everybody for coming by today. And if this has been valuable, tell somebody, not about me, but just tell somebody today that you love them, that you like them, that you were thinking of them, that you care for them. Make the world a little bit better, and that'll change the environment around you and make your day a little bit better, a little bit brighter. Because when we tell somebody thank you, or I love you, or I appreciate you, not only do they get thanks, but you get it as well. So I appreciate you all. Muhammad, thanks for spending some time with us today, brother. I can't wait till the next time. So from Egypt to Peru to all over the United States, thanks everyone.
Anytime I waiting you to come, and I waiting you to any session in Blab Pita. I hope to. It's the first time to join here, and I hope to understand me very well.
Well,
And nice to
Muhammad. Whenever I'm on, you've got a spot open. Okay, so I appreciate you being here. So, folks, I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. You can go to mentalprofits.com, a little blog site there. But I'm the founder of Mental Profits. Your thoughts do create your income. So if we can help you create better thoughts, create better income. And income's not only money; it's about everything that comes into our life.
Yeah. Yes, I hope to see you again, and I hope the network is disconnect for 10 days.
Well, I hope not.
What will you do?
Muhammad, thanks for being here. Everyone else, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll see you all where? At the next event. Till then.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.